Hi everyone, a very good morning to all. Now we are going to study about the question number 67. It is all about Huygens principle or superposition of light waves. See, what is wavefront? The very first thing here we need to understand is what is wavefront. Wavefront is nothing but locus of all points which vibrate in same phase. In same phase. Or else you can say that a surface perpendicular to all the light rays. You have to imagine such that it is perpendicular to not just one, two, it must be perpendicular to all the light rays. So that is called wavefront. Just like when there is a point source, then you can imagine concentric circles so that every concentric circle is like now wavefront because each and every point on that vibrate in same phase and each and every point on one wavefront behaves as source for the second one. Just like when you throw a stone on the water surface, you will see the ripples like circles around that point of incidence. So that is like same thing. So there one circular wavefront will behave as source for the next one. So that is what the concept of wavefront. And the very first thing, very first kind of question they can ask, what are the wavefronts are there, different wavefronts? In case of a point source, when you consider point source may be in plane. If the point source is in plane, then you will get circular wavefront. This is in plane. But same point source, when you consider inside the space region, then 3D, then these are called spherical wavefront. So depends. Now if there is a line source is there, line source, just like tube light, then all the rays perpendicular to it. So you have to imagine one cylindrical wavefront. So what kind of wavefront it will become? Cylindrical wavefront. Or for a point source at infinity. So at infinity, we will take the rays are parallel to each other. Then you have to imagine plane wavefront. So these are all the different type of wavefronts. And the question can be asked like, suppose there is a convex lens. Now there is a point source. Now the rays will go from here like this. So that if you imagine the incident wavefront is spherical wavefront. Now after refraction, they become parallel to principal axis according to the image formation rules. That means it will become into plane wavefront. So like that, they can ask the question like when a particular wavefront travels through a device, lens, mirror or prism, anything, what is the emergent or refracting or reflecting wavefront? Maybe circular or planar or spherical or cylindrical, depending on the question, you have to understand and you have to analyze. Now, similar way, the next thing what you have to understand is what is superposition. When you consider two waves, y1 equal to a1 sin omega t and y2 equal to a2 sin omega t plus pi. So where pi is phase difference. So with a phase difference, then when they combine, then you will get the resultant wave as vector sum. So the resultant amplitude will become a1 square plus a2 square plus 2a1 a2 cos theta, where the resultant wave will become a sin omega t plus theta and tan theta is given by a2 sin pi by a1 plus a2 cos pi. So this is what the superposition means. When two light waves superimpose each other, then what happens is they mix each other and they behave like one wave with different amplitude and different intensity. Now the thing is here the question can be asked like intensity. So intensity is proportional to square of the amplitude. So that one wave intensity A1 square and another wave intensity is A2 square and the resultant will become A square. So that the formulas will become I1 by I2 equal to A1 by A2 whole square. And when the phase difference is 2n pi, where n equal to 1, 0, 1, 2, so on, then the amplitude becomes maximum, that is A1 plus A2. Similarly, when the phase difference is 2n minus 1 pi, where n equal to 1, 2, 3, so on, then A will become minimum, that is A1 minus A2. So that the maximum intensity to minimum intensity is A1 plus A2 by A1 minus A2 whole square, or else A1 by A2 plus 1 by A1 by A2 minus 1 whole square. So based on this superposition, they can ask the next kind of question. And when you consider interference, it is nothing but I1 should be equal to I2. Let's say some I naught. So when intensities are equal with equal amplitude, if they superimpose, then see here, what can happen is when this wave is going and another wave can superimpose on this like this. So exactly they will coincide actually. So that here the resultant wave will become with a greater amplitude. So the intensity also increases. This is called constructive superposition or constructive interference. And similarly, when they superimpose in this manner, positive or negative, then the intensity becomes zero. Here intensity becomes maximum. Here intensity becomes minimum. Here it will become zero. Here it will become 4I naught. Why? Because when you consider the resultant intensity formula, see A square equal to A1 square plus A2 square plus 2A1 A2 cos pi. And the intensity formula will become I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1 I2 cos pi. And here A maximum condition we have seen, then it will become A1 plus A2 and I maximum condition will become root I1 plus root I2 whole square. So that here I1 equal to I2 equal to I naught. So that the I maximum will become root I naught plus root I naught, 2 root I naught whole square, that means 4 I naught, and I minimum will become root I1 minus root I2 whole square, that will become 0. So superposition and interference both are same. The only difference is interference means there is particular condition that we will see later, and the one more thing is the interference pattern means the intensities are equal, so that at one point the resultant intensity will become 0 and at another point the resultant intensity will become maximum. That only we will consider like bright and dark fringes. And you have to remember what is the path difference and phase difference condition for the constructive interference and destructive interference. When you consider constructive interference, so delta x should be n lambda, then delta pi will become 2n pi. And destructive constructive superposition and destructive superposition, this is nothing but constructive interference also. Then delta x equal to 2n minus 1 lambda by 2 and delta pi equal to 2n minus 1 into pi. So this is destructive interference. So these are the general conditions for path difference and phase difference between two waves to occur superposition or interference. I mean to decide whether it is what kind of superposition. Now let's see few examples based on whatever we have studied. The very first thing is the wavefront is a surface in which all points are in same phase. See, as I said, wavefront means see each and every point, each point vibrate in same phase. So there is no phase difference. There are pairs of points in opposite phase. There are points of with phase difference. There is no relation between phases. No. And one more thing also you have to remember, each will act like source for the next one. Now, for constructive interference to take place between two monochromatic light waves of wavelength lambda, the path difference should be. As I said, the path difference delta x should be 2n minus 1 lambda by 2. Sorry. Constructive they are asking. So constructive means delta x will become n lambda. And the relation between phase difference and path difference is 2 pi by lambda into delta x. So that 2 pi by lambda into n lambda. So delta pi will become 2n pi. So this way you can remember path difference and phase difference relation and you can find the condition. And whichever they are asking, that value you have to substitute. Next. So this question, usually these are the type of question they used to ask in the entrance. That is, two coherent monochromatic light beams of intensities I and 4I are superposed. The maximum and minimum possible intensities in the resulting beam are two coherent monochromatic light beams of intensities I and 4I are superposed. The maximum and minimum possible intensities in the resulting beam are. So, two intensities, I1 is I and I2 is 4I. Now, I maximum by I minimum equal to, as I said, root I1 plus root I2 by root I1 minus root I2 whole square. So, root I1 means root I plus root 4I by root I minus root 4I whole square. So this will become root I plus root 4I means root 2I. So 3 root I by this is minus root I whole square. So 3 means 9 it will become. So the maximum is 9, minimum is 1. So 9 by 1. So 9I and I. Now, if two waves each of intensity I0, so I1, I2 both are equal. How much I0? Now, I equal to I1 plus I2 plus 2 root I1, I2 cos pi. Let's make one general formula. So, I0 plus I0 plus 2 root I0 cos pi equal to 2 I0 plus 2 root I0 root I0, that is also I0 cos pi. So 2 I0 if you take common, 1 plus cos pi. So 2 I0 times 1 plus cos pi means 2 cos square pi by 2 equal to 4 I0 cos square pi by 2. So this is the resultant intensity. And in the given question, if you remember this formula, when intensities are equal, phase difference they have given by 60 degrees. Then the intensity will become 4 I0 cos square 60 by 2. So 4 I0 cos square 30. Cos square 30 is cos 30 root 3 by 2. So 3 by 4. So it will become how much? 3 I0. So this way the questions can be asked based on maximum or minimum or direct formula, like what is the resultant intensity or amplitude of two different waves with a particular phase difference. Now here is one last and final question. Ratio of intensities of two waves is given by I1 by I2 You can also take it in terms of a1 by a2 whole square. Is 4 by 1 implies a1 by a2 will become how much? 2 by 1. Now, the ratio of the direct question, there is nothing to do. If they ask I maximum by I minimum, then you have to take a1 by a2 plus 1 by a1 by a2 minus 1 whole square. So that 2 plus 1 by 2 minus 1 whole square. So it will become 9 by 1. So this way, just try to understand what is Huygens principle, what is principle of superposition. Same concept you have studied in waves also. We will study in further classes. But just try to remember that simple concept like what should be the phase difference and what should be the path difference, so that constructive and destructive superposition or interference takes place. Then you can solve the questions. Many times they asked question based on this particular thing. So similar examples I have given as an assignment. So please try to do it. Then you will get the idea. And even in the NCERT also, some theoretical questions they have given. So please just try to solve them so that you will get the idea. So thank you all of you. We'll continue in the next session with the next question.